What's up, guys? It's your boy LAJ back at it again with another video. So this weekend was Players Weekend in Major League Baseball. Everybody wore either all white uniforms or all black uniforms, and I can't really find anybody that approves or pretty much like these uniforms. Maybe some gold trim might have helped out the situation, but even that is still like too much. It was so bad that the Cubs decided to go with their traditional blue hats, and the Dodgers and Yankees, they petitioned to play in their traditional uniforms, which were denied. Kershaw on Sunday was supposed to pitch in his blue hat, but last minute, I guess, was denied. So all around negativity for these uniforms, but even worse for the Dodgers. Terrible weekend. So let's get right to it. So on Players Weekend, this brings us to our topic. The marquee matchup of the year, Dodgers, Yankees. Something that doesn't happen too often. East Coast, West Coast. 11 times met in the World Series. Time after time, just a bunch of battles. So this was going to be the matchup of the year. This was the matchup of the year if you're a Yankee fan or in New York. And it turned out to be a lot more worse for the Dodgers than I expected and anticipated. The two best teams in their respective leagues were to match up, and this hasn't happened too often. Interleague play, two best teams face to face, not too often does that happen. The Dodgers threw their two best pitchers, the number 1 and the number 6, not just in the National League or in the Dodgers organization, but in all of baseball. Hyun-Jin Ryu and Clayton Kershaw. I measured the Yankees and how they would perform based on the Blue Jays. The Dodgers pummeled the Blue Jays in their series and they swept them. And the Yankees, they didn't necessarily struggle. They're 8-5 against the Jays, but I used that as a measuring tool, and it turned out to be way different than what I expected. I expected a 2-3 series win for the Dodgers, especially given the fact that the Yankees were hobbling into the series after being swept by the A's. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. So let's discuss the negativity. On Friday, Ryu was definitely not that pitcher, not that Cy Young winner that we've used to this entire year. And it was just a terrible outing for him. He only lasted 4 innings, allowing 7 runs on 9 hits, and he struck out 7. But, that's not Hyun-Jin Ryu of 2019. That's not what we're used to seeing, especially against this team. We all know the offense for the Yankees is tremendous and they're incredible, but Hyun-Jin Ryu has been showing signs of excellence in this entire year. Unfortunately, it wasn't that. Also, it doesn't help that the offense only had 2 runs to support him with. That night was just terrible. They ended up getting beat down, just terribly beat down. Sunday, the Dodgers only scored 1 run on a solo shot by Jock Peterson on the very first pitch. Kershaw, I would say he was very good, cool performance. But honestly, it would have been great if the Dodgers gave him the same run support that he got versus the Jays. Same runs allowed, 3 runs. Kershaw went about the same innings, but he just didn't get the run support on Sunday. And again, 1 run the entire game. 1 run on 5 hits. That's disgustingly bad. The Yankees' narrative going into this series was they don't have starting pitchers. Like, everybody doesn't pitch well. They all have a 3 or 4 ERA or above. They got CC Sabathia, who's 40 years old, healthy, not even close. So this is how terrible the Dodgers team was offensively, and this is what it was. Barnes, who was resurrected on Sunday from the dead, managed 1 of the 5 Dodger total hits. Will Smith, our savior, was really bad as he struck out 5 times with only 1 hit in the series. The MVP of the league struck out 6 times and amassed only 1 hit. Corey Seager got only 1 hit in the 2 or 3 games that he played. Jock, the 1 hit, a game-tying home run, and the only run on the first pitch Sunday. Chris Taylor, coming off a great series versus the Jays, only got 2 hits the entire series. Max Muncy, the guy that everybody just didn't see coming and was let go by the A's, only got 2 hits this series and struck out 7 times. Justin Turner, 2 hits, including the 1 home run off CC Sabathia that eventually became the game-winning run and only runs for the Dodgers. So the offense was just terrible. Sorry to say this, but it was just terrible. Bottom line, the Dodgers only scored 5 runs against 16 from the Yankees. And this is from supposedly the worst pitching staff in the American League. In all this negativity, there's always some positive, and I'm going to bring that up because I don't want you guys to think that I'm just focusing on the negative. Firstly, let's discuss the pen. The pen that we've all said throughout this entire year is going to be the Achilles heel of the Dodgers in the postseason and moving forward, is actually performing well, and they did fairly well in this series. Pedro Baez and Kolarek, I don't know how to pronounce them. They each allowed 1 run, but for the most part, they were shutting down the offense when they were coming in. Joe Kelly, as time goes down, the more and more I say he's finally found his way. The first 3 to 4 months, my God, were just terrible, and I'm surprised he made it. But now, I'm glad that he's found his way, and I'm not necessarily an apologist yet. That is yet to be seen still, but I'm on that train where I'm starting to believe in Joe Kelly again. I'm definitely not going to say Kenley Jensen is back, but he definitely took a step in the right direction. He got into a pickle in Saturday's game. It happened. Honestly, I thought they were going to lose, and if they had lost, that would have been a sweep. But he managed to find his way out of that jam and pitch as well. I'm not necessarily back on believing and trusting on Jensen, but again, just like Joe Kelly, he's got me swayed into the right direction. Although Kershaw lost, he did manage to strike out 12 batters. He went 7 innings, only allowed three runs. So it was necessarily a good outing. But again, if the offense had provided at least 4 runs, 5 runs, 6 runs, just like they did against the Blue Jays where they scored 16, maybe this is a different story. Maybe I'm a little more positive, maybe a little more happy. But the fact of the matter is Kershaw had a great game, cool game, but he just didn't get the run support, unfortunately. On Saturday, though, Tony Gonsolin, man, this guy is just making it even more harder to not be included, not only in the roster moving into the regular season, but into the postseason roster. He went 5 innings, allowed 1 run and 2 hits. He didn't strike out a lot, but he did his job for 5 innings against the second best team in all of baseball. So necessarily, the question is, am I worried? Is this it for the Dodgers? Obviously not, but it is very telling. The Dodgers threw their 2 best pitchers at the Yankees, and it wasn't enough. They also couldn't hit their worst pitchers, which essentially are their best pitchers, and that's a little bit worrisome. So this isn't the end, but it is very telling, like I just mentioned. So I'm just hoping the Dodgers can keep that foot on the gas pedal moving forward and find a way to get better. I know they have the best record in all of baseball, but at the end of the day, regular season success doesn't transfer into the postseason. With that being said, what is your guys' favorite nickname from all the players weekend? And if you were a player, what would be your nickname? I would like to hear that stuff. Definitely would like to hear that. I'm your boy LAJ, and I'll catch you guys next time. Let's go Dodgers.